So, what verbal and non-verbal cues will you utilise in your classroom to effectively teach if you want to be the best possible teacher you can be? Hi, my name is Harry, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a famous book called My Posse Don't Do Homework, written by Llewellyn Johnson. And it's based on a true story, and it was later made into a movie in 1995 called Dangerous Minds. The story is about a retired US Marine called Llewellyn Johnson, who in 1989 decided to take up teaching at a school in Belmont, California. Miss Johnson was surprised to be offered a job immediately on attending her interview and was allocated to the Academy Teachers class and was told these were special kids who were energetic and extroverted. Miss Johnson's eyes lit up as soon as she heard this news. She peered through the door at the students in her class, but not for long. The excitement soon drained from her face as she stepped into an absolutely chaotic classroom. As a class full, hardly anyone was in their seats. There was shouting, there was pushing, everyone talking at once, loud music playing, and a few students were even rapping. You get the picture. It took a few moments for some of the students, and then all of the students, to even notice that Miss Johnson was standing at the front of the classroom. They looked at her with disdain. They began leering and yelling profanities at her, claiming that they'd eaten and killed their last teacher. So on her second day, Miss Johnson completely transformed her approach. She changed her clothes, she changed her manner, and she changed her approach to engaging with these students. So as the students flooded in the door, she turned to the chalkboard and wrote, "I am a US Marine. Does anyone know karate?" The entire classroom environment changed. The students, they all changed. All eyes were on the front and on Miss Johnson. She realised from that moment forward, although it wasn't a general approach she would use to a less disruptive classroom, it appeared that the students were interested in what she had to say, and they began to engage in a more positive manner. She had gotten their attention. So slowly, with more exposure to these students, she began to diversify and think of creative strategies to keep the students engaged, as she had realised that each student had their own unique way of learning. Well, Miss Johnson struggled. She had her wins and she had some losses with the students, but she was persistent and believed in these teens, and she kept going. The school had assigned her to the most unruly classroom in the entire high school, where Miss Johnson found traditional ways of delivering content and engaging students just simply did not work. Miss Johnson, no doubt, matured greatly, and her professional knowledge deepened as she was exposed to acquiring a rapid level of understanding of cultural awareness and the sheer poverty and broken and struggling family backgrounds that the majority of her students lived in. She explored different ways to get the students to strive to do their best. She told them, "Everyone here has an A, but it's your job to keep it." She visited the families of those students who were struggling. She spoke with their parents and offered them praise and affirmation. She structured reward-based tasks, one being a theme park outing once a certain level of achievement had been reached. And she delivered on her promises, which assisted to develop more trust from her students. As the story progressed, Miss Johnson fiercely defended and protected her students, championing them on to not disengage from school when they felt like it, or when others said that they should. Miss Johnson displays the Australian Professional Standards for Teacher number 1, which is know students and how they learn. She displays particular professional knowledge in Standard 1.2, which is understand how students learn, by firstly getting to know her students, by visiting their neighbourhoods and families, and secondly, by using poetry and music in her classroom to help students connect to the material as best they can. As well as that, Miss Johnson also displays the Queensland Code of Ethics number 2, which is dignity, by valuing the diversity of her students. She understands that many of her students come from a low income and often marginalised community. She is determined to create a classroom environment that respects and celebrates their diverse backgrounds. She treats her students equitably by recognising and addressing the disparities in their educational opportunities to provide them with the support and resources that they need. And additionally, Miss Johnson also displays justice in her classroom, as the well-being of her students is always at the forefront of her mind. So in summary, communication is central to the work of teaching because it supports the teaching and learning process. It helps build relationships and it fosters a sense of community in the classroom and beyond. We can clearly see this is exactly what Miss Johnson did. And I also wish to highlight the importance of recognising that teaching students is not a linear process, and that at times a teacher will need to improvise, adapt, and overcome resistance to student learning. Thank you.